Hello, thanks for clicking this video. If you are in here, that means you want to know a little bit more about mental health. You want to know about what I have to say about mental health. And if you are new here, welcome. My name is Gabriela. I make health-related content, specifically mental health. It's one of my favorite topics, so let's get right into it. In today's video, I will explain what mental health is, some mental health illnesses, what we can do to help someone with a mental illness, and just some tips that I have developed that I have actually transferred throughout my experience in working closely with the Department of Mental Health. According to mentalhealth.gov, mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. Mental health is an important stage of life from childhood till adulthood. If you remember my favorite video, it is actually in my mental health playlist. I talk about the comparison to others and how that truly affects our mental health, whether it's in different stages of our life where we feel like we haven't accomplished certain things in life, and that affects our mental health in a negative way. So that video is one of my favorites, and in that video I talked about the purpose of my channel. It truly is to help just one person, and if I can transfer a skill or knowledge to you through this video, I'm fulfilled. That being said, let's continue. I will name some illnesses and some disorders. Now, these are not all of them, but these are the major ones. So we have the most popular one, I think it's depression, anxiety, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. We have bipolar. We have mood dysregulation disorders. We have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, known as ADHD or ADD. Mental health can't affect me. Myth or fact? The fact is that mental health issues can affect anyone. In 2020, so right about the peak of COVID, we have 1 in 5 American adults experience a mental health condition in a given year. 1 in 6 young people have experienced a major depressive episode, and 1 in 20 Americans have lived with a serious mental illness such as bipolar disorder or major depression. And before I give you some tips, I want to share what the President of the United States just declared in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month. So President Biden said this about mental health: "We all have a role to play in ending the stigma around mental health issue. It starts by showing compassion so everyone feels free to ask for help. Dial 988 to reach the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are a new or expecting mother, you can call 1-833-9-HELP for moms for confidential professional advice. If you're feeling overwhelmed or just need someone to talk to, ask your healthcare provider. Contact the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administrators National Helpline at 1-800-662-HELP or visit www.findsupport.gov. If someone you know is going through a tough time, reach out and tell them you're there for them. We are all in this together." So in President Biden's statement, 2 things stood out to me. 1, he said, let's show compassion towards another. And 2, he is advising that if you are going through a tough time, reach out to someone. So I cannot stress the importance of that being a skill that is needed when you are facing a mental health issue. The skill of being vulnerable and trusting someone with your ideas, problems, issues. Having those uncomfortable conversations leads to feeling better, because you talk about something. Now you have every right to, 1, ask the other person for advice if you feel you need it, or 2, just have them listen. And maybe you're someone who doesn't want the advice. Maybe you're someone who just needs to vent it out. So it's so important. I will suggest that if you don't have someone that you can talk to or trust or feel like you can be vulnerable around or vulnerable with, journal. Journaling is so effective. I've seen it with some of the people I work with. And I think that one's a common one when you don't trust someone or when you have a difficult time in being vulnerable. So with that being said, the other part of that is then showing compassion, showing empathy, and validating a person's feeling, whatever they're going through. This number has worked for someone that I have worked with, and it brings me joy because oftentimes you think about, does that solution truly work? Is this the good method? Is this effective? And maybe it won't be for everyone, right? But I was happy to know that this did work for someone else. So I urge you, it's there, it's a resource. Please utilize them. I can tell you how effective that is. One, being vulnerable, it is a skill to be able to address your needs, to communicate, to put your pride, your ego to the side and say, hey, I need help, or hey, I need to talk to you about something. And the more you practice it, the more that you can develop other skills and other help. I like this good quote. I believe it was, I want to say Kimberly Clark, I think, and I might get this wrong, but it's the founder of intersectionality. And she gave a good TED talk, and in that TED talk, she said, you can't find a solution if you first don't address a problem. And to connect it to this, when you're facing through your stuff, sometimes you might want to answer, but what happens when you're just bottling it up and you're not telling anyone and you're not reaching out for help? It's not always going to be tough. Sorry, it's not always going to be easy. And it won't also be tough. So, yeah, that's it for today. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. My next video is going to be more fun than this one. This is more educational. You guys know I love these videos. I think you guys do too, because I was looking at my analytics and it looks like my videos where I talk a lot more or are longer have more views. So I'm assuming you guys are watching them. I do have probably 50 subscribers. So the way I like to think about it is like I'm in a class and you guys are my students in the audience. But next vlog is, well, I already told you. Next video is a vlog and I am going to San Diego to visit my best friend. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So stick around if you want to see a fun vlog. Last thing, I promise, okay? Wellness Wednesday. What do you think about that? I came up with it a few weeks ago and I want to go forward with it. Wellness Wednesday, which means that I will post every single Wednesday. If you are facing a crisis, dial 9888. I added an extra 8. I've already included this in another video. I think the most important thing that I forgot to mention in the beginning of my video. This video is in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month.